Good evening. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Kirksick. I'm the Director of Professional Relations with Revolution EHR. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening and for taking time out of your very, very busy schedule. It gives me great pleasure this evening to introduce our speaker, Dr. Chun AuYeung. Dr. AuYeung, he was actually born in Israel, but grew up in sunny Florida. He obtained his bachelor's degree in food science from the University of Florida, and he is a proud graduate from Nova Southeastern. Thought it was interesting. A couple of things that I wanted to mention unique to Dr. AuYeung is that he was a hibachi chef, and based on some of the things that he's noted on his biography, it sounds like that's been a passion of his and something that he certainly enjoyed. He's married to one of our colleagues, Dr. Vicki Wong, who was his optometry school sweetheart. And kind of on a personal note, they are expecting their first baby the end of August. So without further ado, I'm going to go on ahead and hand things over to Dr. AuYeung.
All right, so tonight's topic is practical ways to increase your workflow and efficiency. We all know time is money, money is time. So not only to get more patients in the office throughout the whole day, but to really make it very efficient for the patient's experience. So therefore, they have a positive experience, they come back, and they're not having to waste their whole day in the office and making sure they come back over and over again. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and begin. My story and how Eyes on Orbit got started. I never thought about owning a business. I know how difficult it is to run your own business because my parents ran a restaurant ever since I was a little kid. So I knew how much hard work, time, and dedication it was. So I never wanted to be in that position. So when I graduated in 2012 at Nova Southeastern University, I went ahead and just worked for a big optical retail chain. I was able to just clock in and clock out. It was fun. I was able to make good money, but after 5 years, climbing the corporate ladder, coaching new grads, and even joined the company's acquisition team, I got pretty bored. I felt that I wasn't able to do enough for what the patient needs, for what they want to accomplish, just due to my boss, the regional. Nothing wrong with that, but it just wasn't what I wanted. So I left and then started my own a Target optical sublease. I had two, and from there I had a little bit of taste of what independent practice was. It's kind of like having your first sip of Macallan 18 whiskey. After having that first sip, you just wanted more. So after 2 to 3 years with Target Optical, I started my own practice cold in 2012. As you can see, it's called Eyes on Norbeck. It's off of Norbeck Road. So kind of have that family community feel to it. And that's how we got started back in 2018. And 3 years later, here we are growing exponentially and being really recognized as the primary eye care in the Rockville, Maryland area. So that's how we got started, and that's my story. And obviously the support of my wife, Dr. Vicki Wong, she was always there the whole way. Back at Target Optical, we already started using Revolution EHR already, but I think that at that time it was kind of during its infancy stage. And when I opened my practice, started my practice, kind of like getting everything together, what EHR, what equipment, what labs to use, I knew right away I wanted to use Revolution EHR, not only because I was accustomed to it, but how easily it can evolve as the industry changes. As we know, our industry changes drastically, just like the cryptocurrency stage right now. It just changes up and down. So with Revolution EHR, it's able to evolve and implement other equipments and other services seamlessly and really still looking very modern. For example, we're doing myopia control. I'm able to fully customize the templates, the time it takes to see a patient, and optical orders when I see a myopia control patient. And because of Revolution EHR being fully customizable, I'm able to do all that comfortably and easily. So that's one of the top reasons. There's many reasons why I chose Revolution EHR. And the average day in practice, as a 3-year-old practice, is definitely different than day one. Instead of trying to get patients in, now I'm trying to keep patients in as well as trying to get more patients. Average day, people might think I'm crazy. Some of my colleagues and friends know how I roll. I'm in the office 2 to 3 hours before even the door opens. Those 2 to 3 hours of alone time is my time. That's where I do my administrative stuff, like reviewing the day's patients, as well as personal stuff like social media, checking my own emails, as well as buying things secretly without my wife knowing. So that's kind of like my little thing. I also edge jobs as well during those 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, so I clean the floors, I check the patient's schedule that day, and I also edge my own jobs. To kind of do it all as a new starter, I think you definitely have to do that. So moving on, importance of having workflows, better patient experience, ensuring the staff is operating on all cylinders, ensuring that you're keeping up and efficient with the schedule, which again improves patient experience. And again, happy patients means more word of mouth, means more revenue, and really making you the primary eye care in your community. So practical ways to improve your workflow. Streamline the patient exam from check-in and check-out. So right now what we're implementing is everything to be online, strictly online. So when patients schedule their appointments online, they pick the date and automatically they get an email to fill out a online registration form. The registration form, I fully customized it myself, and it doesn't have 500 questions. It has key questions where they fill out, and when they click submit, it sends it to the Revolution EHR. When they do come in, they are greeted within 5 seconds. I mean, literally, that's one of the things I learned from the optical chain was that to greet the patient within 5 seconds as they come in, acknowledge them. I don't care how busy the staff is, I tell them definitely acknowledge the patient. So as soon as they come in after being greeted, they are taken right back to getting pre-tested. So while they're getting pre-tested, I already know what the patient is here already. I kind of preview the charts and kind of pre-chart a little bit as well. And while they're getting pre-tested, I'm also kind of reading what they do, why are they here, and how they really found out about us too, because that's important because the way they find out about us also focuses my marketing strategy. So by the time when the pre-tester comes in, hey doc, Mrs. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so is ready, I already know a little bit more about them. So I enter the room, I already know who they are, how to pronounce their last name, what they do. So they kind of feel welcome, not just another doctor comes in and asking the same questions that they already filled out on the history form and also answered the pre-tester. So I kind of have an idea why they're here. We do a kind of like summary at the end of what we talked about. You're here because this and this. I recommend this, and this is where we talk about the handoff. I know I'm kind of skipping around a little bit to number 5, the handoff. I just want to go there directly because I think that's very, very important because not only that makes a connection between you and the patient, you're listening to the patient, but also when you hand off to the optician, I don't want the optician to go over all the materials that we carried and all the lenses that we carry, all the coating. I mean, that's a lot. And the patient gets overwhelmed with all the options they can do. What I usually do is like, hey, Yesenia, which is one of my opticians, this is Mrs. So-and-so. Please go over with the progressive. She does a lot of computer work. We can do the freeform progressives with a prescription. We can do Trivex, definitely blue AR coating. She does not like any nose pads. She likes non-nose pads and a plastic Zal frame. Show her these. She's very, very particular about her colors. So from there on, my optician knows what needs to be done, and the patient knows what she's going to be getting because that's what I'm prescribing, and they're going straight to the optical board, not sitting down and talk about prices, co-pays, or materials. They go straight to the board, and when they pick out their frames, all we're doing is picking this, and then finalizing the copay, and that's it. And that, I believe, is definitely efficient and more of a prescribing instead of shopping experience. And go back to jumping back up to number 2, staffing. Staffing is key. When you first started as a new practice on day 1, it was just me and my sister. We did everything. We did pre-testing together. We did answering phone calls, scheduling. I mean, it was running around. Even though we started new, even though we had 5 patients, we still ran around. So as we grew a little bit more, I definitely invested in key quality staffing, because that definitely takes a huge load off your shoulders, off my sister's shoulders, so we can really focus on patient care and also making sure that all the orders are arriving timely. The way we improve on that part is just having the technology, which goes to number 3. And number 4, a focus on scheduling. The biggest time saver, biggest efficiency, biggest thing we implemented was online scheduling and online forms. As I mentioned before, everything is just straight automatic and automated. I mean, they schedule it. We don't do anything except to verify their insurance. So definitely with technology and patient experience, definitely is a huge factor these days. People don't like to talk on the phones anymore, from what I noticed. All right, staff. I know we always try to save a little bit of payroll, but these are the people that always have your back. I initially tried to not be cheap in terms of hiring, but I have to be careful of not overexpending the payroll. So now that as we grew a little bit, I believe the front desk is very, very important. You know, we understand how important the GM is. We understand how important the optician is, because they sell. They understand the optics, but having a desk person is key. He or she is able to see like where to schedule an appointment if they do call in. He or she was able to see where to schedule an office visit, where to schedule a visual field, a check, or even a contact lens pickup recheck. She is, you know, our front desk is definitely very, very keen on what our practice's pulse is. One example is that we have an office visit, and she understands that I don't turn away any office visits at all, especially emergency office visits. Some practices do, I take them all, because you know, a patient that wants a new contact lens exam, they can wait. So she's able to look at the schedule and see where they can fit that office visit in. And what I ask her, why did you put that patient there? She's like, well, I didn't want to put her there because you have a 3 o'clock and that patient's 80 years old and she's Medicare. I didn't even ask her to do that. So she was able to put that patient not at 3 o'clock, but more in a different time slot to double book me. And that definitely wowed me. And that day I bought lunch for the whole staff. Having a front desk is very, very key. And plus my front desk is also a pre-tester as well. So if the scheduling is off, she's overbooking you or not booking accordingly and taking her time pre-testing, that makes the whole day horrible, because I'm trying to catch up on the schedule because I'm held back because of all these overbookings. One thing I didn't really talk about is utilizing the Rev EHR's online portal to improve efficiency. In the beginning, we printed out all the prescriptions. They want a contact lens prescription, we gave it to them. They want the optical prescription, we gave it to them. Now, we just hand them the online portal with their link, automatic, and they have it at the tip of their fingertips. And patients like that too. It's always there for them, and they're also able to see their records in terms of like their accounting, what they paid, and their last visits. I think that's one of the things that we really like about that. Time is very valuable. Patients definitely don't mind spending a little bit more to save a little bit more time. I have a lot of patients that come in from a different doctor's office saying the front desk is rude, that you know, they try to oversell me. Those are that happens, but a lot of time they say that they just waited too long. They have to fill out forms. They go to the doctor's office at 4 o'clock, but they don't get seen until 5 o'clock. And I think having a very efficient and value the patient's time is very important. They're the ones that are paying the rent, their salary, they're paying for my golf clubs. You know, we just need to understand that we should be sitting on a pedestal. We should be making sure the patient's time is much more valuable than ours, because they're coming to your office. They can go anywhere else.
It's a competitive world for sure, and I think that the patient experience is certainly one of the ways that we can differentiate ourselves in practice. We do have some questions. So
Okay.
this is a good question. Are there any voice-to-text apps that you could recommend that work to help older non-typist docs? Are you familiar? Do you use any voice-to-text?
No, I don't.
I know for the person that had submitted that question, I do know that there are some, and I would actually recommend you might want to reach out to the customer support team at Rev, and they can probably help you with that. How to streamline the actual Rev template. So we've talked a little bit just about your workflow, but we didn't really dive in any deeper just with regards to what your templates look like. So do you want to maybe touch on how you've set up your templates within Rev for patient care?
Of course. So a lot of the screens I would try to combine into one screen before going to the next. So that's how I kind of streamline things and make it efficient. So I have everything in front of me on a 27-inch monitor, so it kind of has the whole screen in full view. And instead of the VA is on one screen, you got to click next or control right arrow to go to the next screen to fill in the prescription or IOPs. I have everything in one screen, and then the next screen will be a different section of my exam flow.
How many templates did you set up in terms of scheduling? Because it sounds like you've got a pretty fluent scheduling process in your office. So what types of encounters do you allot for on your schedule?
Oh, okay. So when they make an appointment online, currently it only allots for a comprehensive eye exam only. Initially, we had medical, contact lens, and a comprehensive eye exam without contact lenses. But it seems like patients, we're still working on that, but it seems like sometimes patients will schedule a contact lens exam under comprehensive eye exam without contacts, or they schedule a complete eye exam when they just want to buy glasses. So we are working on that. But in my Revolution, I have several templates, and going from order pickups where my staff can use that template to schedule just pickups or checks, and that does not get into my schedule under my name. It goes into the optical scheduling. When you open Revolution, you have your name, your patient that you're seeing, but also you can also create a separate schedule on the side where it says optical only, and that side it's for the opticians to do checks, to do dispense and pickups or whatever.
Dr. AuYeung, thank you so much for your time this evening. We greatly appreciate you sharing kind of some of your insights and your experiences with us. And we hope that you all have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.